Welcome to the Line Podcast, where performance meets pressure and we explore the mindset of those who have learned to operate within the boundaries that define greatness. I am your host, Coach Manny, and today's guest represents exactly what this show is all about. Miles Franklin, Virginia Elite alumni and now a freshman at Columbia University. He's made the jump from high school standout player to Division I student athlete in one of the nation's toughest and most demanding academic and athletic environments. In this episode, we talk about what that transition really looks like, from long AAU weekends and high school grind to balancing Ivy League classes with college basketball. Miles is off to a really good start this season, and you'll hear how mindset, maturity, and staying ready have shaped his journey so far. Let's get into it. Miles, thank you for doing this. We know you're busy. Team watching film, team film, dinner, going back. You got class, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. Before we get started, have you been on Instagram today?
I've been on Instagram today. Yeah.
Look, man, I woke up this morning. I got on Instagram. The first 10 posts, 8 of them were you dunking on the Mary Jr. yesterday. Yeah. How's that feel, man? How was that?
I mean, it was really cool, going into that game, going to play against UConn, playing in that stadium. It was amazing, and to have that moment was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. How was the energy, man? How was the energy going into, going into that venue, playing against that team, a nationally ranked team? What was the energy from your team, yourself, as to, man, we're here. Let's throw this ball up. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, energy was crazy, man. Like, they had the little pep band. It was loud. The people on the baseline were loud, sidelines loud, music loud. And just being on the court, I think our team energy, everybody was excited to play on that stage. Everybody was excited to, play against that team and test ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And the main thing was just to make sure that we're fighting at all times, not backing into anything.
Good. I'm sure you've had that one before. So before we get into like the games, because you're off to a really good start. First question, talk to us a little bit about the adjustment going from high school to college. Now you're in New York, a little bit more independence. It's Ivy League. It's tough. Walk us a little bit through your day-to-day and how are you adjusting to that stuff?
Yeah. Independence. It's not just a little bit more, it's a lot. I'm like, I'm really like my own boss for outside of like practice schedule and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you get to practice on time, get to class on time. You got to schedule, like, make sure you're doing your work, all that kind of stuff. I think the biggest change, obviously, independence, like for the basketball side, like speed of play, adjusting to the fast-paced coaching, adjusting to all the little statistics and the little details are like the biggest things in college basketball. I mean, I would say like everybody's skilled, everybody's talented, you know what I'm saying? So it's like really how much you can lock in on the little details and stay focused, especially when you're in a game, in a stressful situation, all that kind of stuff. It's been a big adjustment, big change. I think I'm handling it pretty well though.
Good. All right. So great answer. Follow-up question is, you spend your whole middle school, high school, training, preparing for these moments, right? These moments for where you're at right now. Has it hit you yet that you made it? You're in Division I, you're in college playing, you were on national television just a couple of days ago. Has it hit you yet?
Yeah, it's actually funny because me and the other freshman, Connor Igo, we were rooming together before our first game against New Haven. And we were just talking the night before. We were like, we couldn't sleep. We were just like, wow, like just thinking about we really made it. Like, we really we're playing Division I basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're about to go play our first game. It's just surreal. And it's amazing that like the work that you put in, it really paid off. So
good. All right. So you couldn't sleep. Can you walk us a little bit about what was going through your mind, or maybe the conversations with your teammate about, okay, this is going to be our first Division I game, not just preparation for the game, but once the coach is like, Miles, and it's like, all right, here we go. Walk us through that moment.
So I would say the night before, it was just like it wasn't even nerves. I wasn't nervous. It was really just like anticipation. Just to be able to play in this situation, and then going up to the game, being on the bench, it was like coach told me right before, he was like, yeah, 3 minutes, and then it's go time. You know what I'm saying? So it was like 15
Longest
minutes.
3 minutes of your life, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 15 minutes, 24 seconds on the clock. And I look up, he says, Miles. I'm like, yo. No. I'm like, dang, this is really it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I go up to the table, I get in the game. I'm just like, wow, like it's crazy. And then obviously I come down, hit my first three. I looked at my mom, I was like, yep.
Great. Good.
That's a bit. I mean, it wasn't just your first three. You went perfect from the floor, wound up getting Rookie of the Week for Ivy League. I mean, talk about a good start. How'd that feel?
It feels good, but at the same time, it's like I've worked for this, so it's like I'm not letting it affect me. You know what I'm saying? I've really focused on, especially in the past like 2 games, just not really paying attention to all that, because we're focused on winning. We're focused on our team. It's been 2 games, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to stay consistent and do everything I can to help the team, make sure we can win games.
Right. Well, I know that, we go back to look at your progression to get to this point, and we've been fortunate to be a part of that. And as we were talking prior to you jumping on, we use the word consistency, and I'm glad you brought that up about being consistent at this level. And everybody can play. People get it kind of confused talking about Ivy League, but guys can play in that league. I mean, these are not guys who, just randomly got on a team and say, hey, because I do my work in school or something like that, I'm able to play at Columbia or Dartmouth or these other Ivy League programs.
Right.
To see you guys compete against, UConn, which is a perennial NCAA tournament program, and in regards to the score, you guys competed hard. That I know your coach really appreciates that. As you guys are going to eventually get into Ivy League play, that's going to really benefit you guys down the road.
Yeah, definitely. Going along with that, I would just say, like, second half especially, I feel like we really battled, you know what I'm saying? Picked up on the offensive boards. I think the second half was like 39-35 in points. And so, like, it was a much closer game. You could feel like everybody's like intensity pick up, especially after our teammate went down. Like, we're not going to let somebody go out there. We're not going to have our teammates getting hurt and nobody else is going to get hit on their team. Like, we're not going to let them come away just like, oh yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everybody had some motivation to play harder. And everybody and that's going to carry on for sure throughout the year. And it's a good sign for our team.
Absolutely.
On Coach Gadson's point, you did very well both games. Have you had conversations with the coaches that you can share about what was initially perceived to be your role, and maybe already conversations happening about, hey, maybe it's going to be a little bit more?
Yeah, so I would say before I got there, the expectation of what I would need to do to achieve a role that I want. So that's how we really put it. It was like the first conversations were like, this is what you can do to achieve the role that you want. And you know what I'm saying? The level that you do it at will establish that role for you. And so, like, a big thing is defense. A big thing is like just doing the little things that are important to us, like our coverages, our ball screen coverages, all that kind of stuff, being locked in practices. And we have this thing, it's called hustle stats, and it's basically metrics that we use to measure like the things you're doing well in practice. They give you basically a rating. And so, yeah, making sure you're doing well in that, making sure you're being consistent, that'll all get the role. And then, I don't know, like, I just came into the game. I just do what I do, I guess, and that just decides the role that I play and what we need in the moment. And if that's me, and I'll do what I can to help us.
That's a great mentality. Can you expand a little bit on the hustle stats for middle schoolers and high schoolers that may be watching? We all preach diving on the floor or battling, winning your battles. But specifically to you guys, what does that entail? Hustle stats.
Okay. Yeah. So hustle stats are split into like four categories around, maybe five. It's like defense, offensive stuff, hustle. So defense is negative points, hustle is positive points, positive defensive points. And then there's like some other things that go into it. But basically you get measured on the shots you take, your makes and your misses. You get either get points or lose points. Turnovers, so ball security. Turnovers will lose you points. Gain back points with steal. Gain back points with deflections. Bobbling the ball, that could lose you points. Dead ball turnovers could lose you points as well.
Yep.
Missed assignments on defense so like we have ball screen coverages. If you miss your assignment in defense, you may lose points. If you miss your assignment in team defense, you may lose points. While if you have a good assignment in team defense and good assignments in ball screens, you may gain points. It's all sorts of stuff like that. It's all just like little things that are most important to the program. So I feel like it differs from program to program. Whatever's most important to you, those are the things that you're going to be testing guys on. Those are the things that you're going to be measuring and making sure they're doing right. The stats don't lie. Once you get a big enough sample size, you can't argue with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you're using college words already, Miles. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I'm listening to him, and I'm listening to a young man that's played, got into the grind early, and the terminology, the communication, is definitely it's impressive to hear him speak in this manner from a collegiate standpoint.
Yep.
Knowing 12 months ago, you were in high school, playing, getting ready to capture a MAC championship for St. Andrews and Coach Jones. So just kudos to you, Miles, and your evolution to this particular point. And I know that we talk a lot about on the court. As we started out talking about your adjustment to college life, you're in New York. New York is the mecca of a lot of things, and time management, as you spoke about, you have to manage that time. Can you just touch on a little bit about, we talk about your day-to-day, but that time management piece as a college athlete, and not just a college athlete, but an Ivy League college athlete, which is, it takes on a different slide on the rule. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm gonna tell you right now, that Ivy League education, something different. Yo, I'm telling you, time management is probably like, I know everybody says it, and at this point, like for a lot of high schoolers and middle schoolers, I remember I was in high school, everybody was like, time management is important, right. This and that. And I'm like, all right, like I can handle it, blah, blah. You get there, you got practice, we got lift, I got class in the morning, then I got a lift, then I got practice, and then from 1 to 4, and then after that, we got I got another class until 6, and then I got to do homework. I got to do all this stuff. I got to fit in everything to my schedule. Time management is like super, super important, and making sure you're getting your work done, because at the end of the day, you're obviously here for basketball, but you're also here for an education, right? You're not skipping out education. You need to have, you need to learn something in school. You need to set yourself up to be successful in the future, because basketball ends at some point for everybody. Like, no matter who you are, LeBron James, it ends at some point. You got to have stuff after. You got to have a plan for what you're going to do after. You have to be able to be educated and to make the decisions that you need to make as an adult, living on your own. I think time management, it's really just like making sure you're finishing your homework, not skipping class, making sure you're getting sleep. That's a big part of time management. You have to allot time to get sleep, or else injuries will pile up. You won't be able to perform the way you want to, and then school will slip, basketball will slip. Like, it's a domino effect if you're not able to manage that. And I think everybody's able to time management. It's just discipline. It's really discipline, and knowing that this is what you want to do. And if it's what you want to do, then you got to have the discipline to really, lock in on it.
Right. Well, we've had several players play in the Ivy League. Now that you carry on that tradition with us, um, it really means a lot to see you be successful as that Ivy League athlete. I think looking at the guys that came before you, you're now in a very special group of guys that have gone on and been very successful, following that pathway. So when we look at you and we look at you competing on the basketball court, we know you're an excellent student. You were already an excellent student before you got to college. That's something that we praised you about. People don't know, Coach Man. Miles is a good pianist, by the way. Yeah, my man can hit those keys, those ivory keys.
I'm not
So
surprised, G. He sounds like a really smart guy, man.
yeah, man, yeah. So I know as we go and we go through you're going through this process. Now, who's your guys' next opponent?
UMass Lowell is our home opener on Thursday.
Okay, good, good. So tell me about the student body at Columbia. In New York, you in that mecca again. The student body. I've seen some pictures and it looked pretty rowdy and like a, So tell me about your student body and supporting
Um,
the people.
yeah, student body. It's interesting. It's like it's definitely not the same as like I don't know, your average SEC school or something like that. You meet a lot of different types of people. I would say the student body is very diverse. And you'll meet obviously a lot of smart people. I think the biggest thing for me has been like just respecting everybody, being nice to everybody, starting conversation with everybody. Like I've made a lot of friends that I probably wouldn't have made if I was closed off to just like my teammates or just my athletes and all that kind of stuff. I think there's something that you can learn from everybody. So it's really important that network with them, because like as an athlete, like you're not above everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not above everybody. They worked hard to get to where they're at too. You know what I'm saying? So like it's just seeing yourself on the same playing field as everybody and being humble, being friendly, all that kind of stuff is really important. I think it'll also help you in like your mental health, I would say, because if everything is all the time, it's just one thing, it's just basketball in school, you know what I'm saying? You don't have any like release from that. Just like a simple conversation with somebody that's, not part of an athletics program or something like that. Just a conversation, a friendly conversation while you're walking. It's a great release and it's good to keep you grounded.
Good, good. Well, I know you being a freshman. Are you recognized when you're walking through campus? The people say, "Hey, that's Miles," and like you would see.
After that dunk, I'm sure he is. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. How does that feel on that campus when you walk around and it's a sense of ownership of that university? And they've produced a lot of really good athletes in the past. I think last year they won the Ivy League in football, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so they've been very successful as an athletic program. How does that, now that you're a sports center guy, that how does that feel when you walk around that campus and the people see you?
Obviously it feels good, it feels good. It's like bittersweet, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Right,
like it,
right.
and I love all that, but at the same time, I don't like being distracted from what I'm trying to accomplish, if you know what I mean. Like
Right, right.
I would say like getting the clips and whatnot, playing well, leading the team in scoring, all that kind of stuff. It's just like I want to keep it. I want to make sure I'm consistent, and I want to make sure there's nothing that stops me from doing the things that got me to this place. You know what I'm saying? That got me into this position. So I feel like it just makes it harder to stay, disciplined. Of course, I'm going to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It adds a little bit of extra pressure, I would say, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Miles,
Well,
that's go ahead, G.
yeah. One thing you said earlier. You said that you looked in the crowd and you saw your mom. You made eye contact with your mom. I know your mom is a special lady. Been knowing her for a while, and your father, your brothers, your sisters. as a young man, to accomplish something and look in the stands and see your parents and realize, Mom, I've gotten here, and it's because of you and Dad and brothers and sisters. What sense of ownership did that give you as the older son?
It's crazy. Like you can't even imagine. My mom was at the New Haven game. My dad was at the UConn game, and I hadn't seen them. I hadn't seen them since I got to school. Um, so just like, especially the New Haven game, score my first points. You know what I'm saying? My mom looked excited. You know what I'm saying? Like her pushing me in high school, making sure I stayed on top of my stuff, like keeping me accountable if I was slacking, and then my
Right.
dad actually bringing me to the gym, helping me work out, doing all that kind of stuff, making sure that I was doing what I needed to do to be successful at this level. Like at UConn, all throughout high school, I remember we would work on dribble pull-ups like every day. That was like a staple for me. You know what I'm saying? I can jump, and if I can jump and shoot and get above people, it
Right.
makes it hard. It makes it hard to block. You know what I'm saying? We work on that shot. And the second half at UConn, I was like, I'm gonna go to it. I got to
Right.
it 3 times and made them all. So it's like, and just like doing that in front of my dad, it was just great. And then, you know what I'm saying? I get back to the locker room, check my phone. My brothers and my sister, they're all texting me like, "Oh my gosh, you're tough, Miles,
Right.
that dunk." You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Them reposting me.
That's
Like you'll see the
amazing.
only people I repost on Instagram are my brothers and my sister and my mom.
Right.
It's
Right.
like it's surreal, you know what I'm saying? And being the oldest and being able to be that role model for them is like it's really great. It's amazing.
Well, I know a lot of the players in the DMV in that class of 2025 you competed with around the DMV area, as well as on the national stage. And I had some coaches text me about you and your play, the intensity, the consistency of playing. And one of the things I've always said that we can play on any stage, is given the opportunity to play on that stage, and you showcase that. Um, and I in my segment with this, as a student athlete, have you decided on a major yet, or what's that academic profile for you?
Yeah. At Columbia, you don't declare your major until the end, like second semester in your sophomore year. But right
Okay.
now, I'm on the political science track, looking at some pre-law stuff, looking into that, seeing if that would be something that would be attainable. I mean, it's obviously attainable if I work at it, but just seeing how everything plays out with like basketball, with my life, you know what I'm saying? And just making sure that I'm thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
just thinking about what I want to do. So
Right.
yeah, it's looking like political science right now. Um, and we have like these networking events, and I take advantage of those and meet with people who are already lawyers in New York, who are already like superintendents, all that kind of stuff. It's like a great alumni program. So just making sure I meet with as many people and talk about that type of field.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because one of the things I'm really proud of is we had a kid several years ago named Paul Roller. He went to William and Mary, who was a
Mhm.
lawyer who actually obtained his law degree at William and Mary as a Phi Beta Kappa. So I know you can do it.
Mhm.
Like you said, time management, and that's one of the things he preached. Because I even asked, I mean, how in the heck do you do that? He said, Coach, it was basically time management, and if that's your drive and that's what you want to accomplish, it can be done. We've already proven that. Um, and it's just to see you succeed, Miles, it's a blessing to this community and what you mean to this community as a young student athlete. And we wish you a lot of success. And Coach Manny?
Yeah, just to wrap it up, Miles, very, very mature, man. I'm really impressed. I've met you before, never had a conversation like this. I'm really impressed, man. Sky's the limit for you. You've probably been told that a lot, but just stay off distractions, like you said. But to wrap it up, let's bring it back to basketball. You're now in this position. You're exposed to all of this stuff, all these different type of people. If you could redo one thing and think about middle schoolers and high schoolers that are watching and listening to you, if you could redo one thing, or if somebody could have told you something while you were in middle school and high school that you think would have prepared you better for where you're at right now, what would that be?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. So if somebody could say something, I think everything there's like adults can only do so much to prepare you for something that you have to go through yourself. I think you learn from experiences. So as for what's been said, I think all the right things have been said to me. It's just what you take with that and what you do with that. I would think if I were to redo anything in middle school, I wouldn't say I regret anything because it's all like led me to where I'm at now. But I would say, I wish that's a good question. I had to pick because because everything that's happened, I've had like my journey has been a little bit different. In middle school, like I was like B team, I was B team county, I was like all that kind of stuff. I was on all like AAU teams that weren't very competitive. And I wasn't really locked in, I would say that's one thing. I didn't know what it took. I didn't have the work ethic, I would say, in middle school and even my first year of high school that it takes. I would say in my first year of high school is when it really clicked for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not that good. You know what I'm saying? And I think the biggest thing is being able to humble yourself and say, I'm not that good, but I will be if I do this. I will be if I stay in the gym. I will be if I stay disciplined. I will be if I eat right. I will be if I get the sleep I need to get. I will be if I'm respectful to everybody. And our coach says, respect everybody, fear no one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get to the point you need to get to if you live by that. And maturity, to humble yourself, realize that you aren't as good as you think you are. And like, I'm not even at my, people always like, oh, like you did this, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, and I just don't like it because like I'm not the best I can be. So, and until I'm like at that point, which I feel like sky's the limit, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to keep breaking barriers for what I thought was possible. Middle school me thought was possible. And I would say, like, especially kids these days, like I would say to all of them, I would just be like you got to be honest with yourself and you got to be able to not get down because of the reality of what your situation is. So if you're not as good as you need to be, don't get down on yourself. Do the things that'll get you better. Like there's no sympathy from other people. It's you and your family. Your basketball team, that's your family. Your coach is your family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you and that. Like everybody else, they don't care. They don't care about you, right? They need to get their check. They need a surprise for their family. And at the end of the day, it's really just being able to have the maturity and discipline to do what you need to do and focus on yourself and never get down on yourself, even when you're like not where you want to be. Just know that you can get there. You just have to want it, have the discipline, and do the things that it takes to get there, you know?
And that's another episode of The Line. If you got value from this, like it, share it, and hit subscribe. We're building a real community here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay locked in. Stay within the line. Until next time.